probably the three best players I played with well, three or four best players I played with in my career. The other three are in the Hall of Fame, so I kind of feel like that's where he belongs. He did things that very few people could do. You know, the base stealing part is obviously one of them, but one of the best switch hitters in the game in history.
8:52 on TSN 690. It's Weekend Game Plan with Matthew Ross. That was the voice of longtime Montreal Expos player Tim Wallach recently on a podcast with Bill Ladson of MLB.com talking about Tim Raines and his worthiness for the Hall of Fame. We're joined now by the agent for Tim Raines, a longtime agent and friend of Tim Raines. He's also on Twitter, actually, as well, at Randy M. Grossman. We are pleased to have Randy on the program. Hey, Randy, how you doing?
Good morning, Matthew. It's been a whirlwind few days, but I am doing wonderful.
Yeah, gotta ask you about it all, Randy. You've been there from the beginning and of this whole journey to Cooperstown, and what a week I'm sure it's been. The day of at the Raines household. How was the mood prior to the phone call?
You know, interestingly, I think Tim was a little bit nervous. He's usually very calm, collected, and, just jovial, getting everybody around him, loosening them up. And it was really the first time that I think it started to hit him. And he was getting a little bit nervous. I think if that call had not come, it was about 3 o'clock in Arizona when we got the call there. If it had been after 3:15, the Hall told us if you get a call, it'll come between 3 o'clock and 3:30. I think if it had gotten much later after 3:15, who knows what would have happened.
Oh, boy. Yeah. And then obviously the call comes in. We saw the reaction. You posted a video on Twitter. Folks can check that out at Randy M. Grossman. And the joy. You could see the joy and the relief, right, on the faces of not only him but his wife, his kids.
Oh, it was just tremendous. Shannon, his wife, her parents were there. And, of course, Shannon and the twin girls were right next to him there, and they all just kind of exploded. And, a sense of relief, a sense of joy. It's just, as he explains, it's one of the best things that's ever happened to him, certainly in his baseball life. And a long time coming. I mean, man retired 15 years ago.
Amazing. And when you look at the outpouring, not just from the media members like Jonah Carey and others who were advocating for him, but we saw a lot from teammates and even opponents, right, in the media in the last couple of years of people trying to vouch for him?
Tim is one of the really rare players because I've had the privilege and opportunity to represent many different Major League Baseball players over my career. And I will tell you, there are some players that are fan favorites, and the fans really love the player. But, the teammates may not be real high. He may not be a favorite teammate. On the other hand, there's other players, Eddie Murray, comes to mind.
Yep.
And, he wasn't always, he was kind of gruff on the outside, and the fans weren't really sure, but the teammates loved him. Tim is one of the really rare types of people that was beloved by his teammates and by the fans. It's a test to his character and his personality, and just a wonderful human being he really is.
Now, you also represent Dave Winfield, who had a chance to go into the Hall of Fame a few years ago. How does this change Tim Raines' perception and maybe even his schedule and how people view him, do you think?
Interesting question, because as we had dinner on Tuesday night before the call, I had flown from my home in San Diego over to Phoenix, and I got together with the family. We were having dinner, and I looked at Tim and I looked at Shannon, and I said, hey, tomorrow we expect you're going to get this call, and your life's going to change. I mean, right now people may say, hey, former All-Star, baseball great, Tim Raines. I said, after you get that call, it's going to be Hall of Famer Tim Raines, and it will change everything. Just, it's the kind of cachet of being a Hall of Famer, and I don't think it has really settled in. In fact, last night, Tim and I were having dinner here in New York City, and he said, this still hasn't really hit me yet. And, you go through the different phases, and, Jeff Idelson, the Hall of Fame president, told me recently, I've talked to a lot of Hall of Famers, and it really doesn't sink in until after they're on that stage at induction weekend and then make that speech.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's going to be the big chore over the next few weeks. Well, Randy, I want to tell you something that has really come to the forefront the last couple of days here. You know my work with Expos Nation and with the fans here in the city. A couple of years ago, we brought 2 buses to see Pedro Martinez get inducted. I was planning on releasing information on a bus trip for fans to see Rock in the spring, because for Pedro, they signed up in June, July. We couldn't get people to sign up earlier. I have been inundated, absolutely inundated with people, not only from Montreal, but from Toronto, from Ottawa, from upstate New York, who are asking about bus trips. And so I really estimate that we will have 4, 5, maybe even more in terms of bus loads. And that doesn't count the people that are going overnight there or who are coming from other parts. So he can absolutely expect an incredible amount of powder blue jerseys and Expos logos in the crowd come July 30th.
Nothing will warm the Reigns' family's hearts more than that. During the press conference here in New York a couple of days ago, he was asked by a member of the media, what cap are you going to go wearing into the Hall of Fame? And, there have been some people speculating that, hey, he spent, 5 years with the White Sox and had some really great years. And other people said, well, he won 2 World Series rings with the New York Yankees. And, and Montreal doesn't even have a franchise anymore. And, Tim stood up and said, hey, I'm appreciative that I got to play a 23-year career, many different cities, and, had great opportunities. But it all started in Montreal. That's where my heart is in baseball. I love the fans there, and I'm going to proudly wear a Montreal Expos cap on my plaque going into the Hall of Fame. So to have the support and everything of that, I know last night he got a call from the mayor of Montreal to call and congratulate him. There was a tweet from Prime Minister Trudeau, and it really means a lot to Tim.
He is Randy Grossman, the agent for Tim Raines. Randy, thank you so much for your time. I know it's early for you. You're a West Coast guy, so we really appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of everything that this entails.
Really appreciate it. Way to go. Thanks a lot, Matthew.